Well, I believe I have found my Ikigai, and in this video, I want to show you how to find yours. If you've been around the internet, you may have seen this word trending about here and there. Pronounced Ikigai, as in a word my daughter would use to describe me after not shaving or showering for a week. The Ikigai is a Japanese concept that refers to something that gives a person a sense of purpose or a reason for living. A lot of people are trying to find their Ikigai because the Japanese believe that this Ikigai concept is the secret key to a long and happy life. Naturally, we all want to live a long life, and we also want to be happy during that long life. So the Ikigai concept is something that makes sense to pursue. As it turns out, finding your Ikigai may actually be easier than you think. I found what I believe to be my Ikigai after transitioning jobs and spending a few years really focusing on my strengths and passions, which is something I've talked about a lot on this channel. So I really want to show you how you can find yours. Now, if you want to follow along and find your Ikigai, check out the link in the description below to get a workbook that will help you find your own key to a long and happy life. So if you're here to find your Ikigai, I'm going to start by asking you 4 very simple questions about yourself. What do you love? What are you good at? What is something that you can be paid to do? And what does the world need? So all these questions are incredibly personal, so you really want to dig deep inside to make sure you're answering the questions truthfully so that you can get an accurate reading on your Ikigai. And I'll give you some examples of how I found my own Ikigai throughout, but don't stick with my examples because this is your Ikigai, not mine. We'll start with the first question, which was, what do you love? Now, when you're thinking about what you love, you want to try to stay away from material possessions and stuff because these types of things tend to be fleeting and not very lasting. Our interests in these types of things tend to wane over time. You want to try to think about something that makes you happy on the inside, something that you could do when you're feeling bored and that you would lose yourself in if you got to do every single day. As you answer this question, try not to think about something that you could do for work because we're not there yet. That's going to come later once we get into the third question about what you could do to make money. This is purely just something that you love in your life that makes you happy and that you could do every single day if you had the opportunity to. When I was sort of exploring around trying to find my own Ikigai, when I was prompted to answer this question, I thought about how I love to design things and create things. I love art and music. These aren't like items or things you can buy. I also really love my family. They make me feel good and they make me feel connected to myself. And that makes me feel really passionate and really love these things. So once you found something that really excites you, makes you feel happy on the inside, and something that you could just lose yourself in doing all day, it's time to move on to the second question. What is something that you're good at? Now, this question can be sometimes hard to answer, especially if you're feeling a little bit lost in your life and you're looking for a sense of purpose. It's very easy to look at your job and think about the sort of skills that you use in your job, and that might actually be a good starting point for you. But if you're feeling a little bit stuck in your job and you're looking for a transition of sorts, you might want to stay away from thinking about your job. But if you are going to think about your job, think about the parts of your job that you really excel in, the parts that give you energy while you're at work and make you feel useful and productive. Outside of your job, try to think about what your unique skills are and don't worry about bragging. It's okay to flaunt your skills here. You want to be honest with yourself so that you can find your Ikigai. Try to think about your unique skills that you can offer people. So what do you help people with? What are the types of things that people are coming to you and constantly asking for? To go back to my Ikigai, I already talked about how I really like to design things and I'm really passionate about art and music. One of my unique skills is that I have an eye for design. So I can lay things out really nicely and they're aesthetically pleasing. I have a knack for just laying out information in a presentable way. And I have no issue sitting here telling you these things because these are the skills that are connected to my Ikigai and give me my own sense of purpose and the reason for getting up in the morning and doing what I do. Being able to use these skills every day makes me feel very happy. And that is the point of finding your Ikigai. So at this point, you've thought about something that you love and you've thought about what you're good at. The next thing we're gonna do is start thinking about what you can be paid for. This is where you have to sort of bring yourself down from the dream world and kind of ground yourself in reality a little bit more, but not too much. If you hate your job right now, remove your job from the equation and think about what your dream job would be. What would you absolutely love to be paid to do? Is there something in the past that you've done to make money that you could revisit in your life today? If you made the decision tomorrow to just wake up and quit your job, where would you start? What type of work would you pursue? As you're answering these prompts, without thinking too much, try to connect back to the things you love and your skills. Because if you love something and you're good at it, the odds are if you pursue it as a line of work, you will get there. I've talked a lot on this channel about how I was a teacher for 5 years, And that's something I was paid for at one point. In that job, I got to explain things, I got to present them in an accessible way. From time to time, I also got to design stuff. These were all elements of my job that I was able to carry forward into my current job that made this question pretty easy for me to answer. I knew that I could be paid to explain stuff, and I knew that I could be paid to design stuff. So think about how your passions and your strengths could be used in a different way to make you money that isn't your job that you're doing right now. Unless you're really passionate about your job right now and you're really good at it, you might be closer to your Ikigai than you thought. Now, the last question you have to ask yourself is a very big and sometimes overwhelming question, and you want to think about what the world needs. The world needs a lot of stuff. So if you're feeling overwhelmed about this question, it sometimes helps to narrow your scope a little bit and just think about like the people in your community or the people that are close to you. Ask yourself, what do those people need? And how could you change the world for them? Again, you want to keep in mind your strengths and your passions, as well as the ideas you came up with previously that you could be paid for. And you want to start thinking about ways that you could combine all those things and make a difference for people. Again, this tends to be the hardest step. When I asked you about the things you were good at, I prompted you to think about how you've helped other people in the past. So take the answer to that question and blow it up a little bit bigger, extend it to your community or the world if you're feeling ambitious, and you'll find yourself answering this question. When I was searching for my Ikigai, I knew that I really love design, I really love to create things, I love to explain things. I'm skilled in those things, I can use those things to make money. And when it came to thinking about the world needs to learn stuff. So I transitioned from teaching to a job teaching online, which then became a job in instructional design and building online educational content. So you can kind of follow the path from the passions and the love to the strengths, to the things I can be paid for, to the things that the world needs. I now develop online content that is used all over the world. So at this point, I'm hoping that you've been able to answer all 4 of those questions about yourself, as you are now very close to finding your Ikigai. Now, what you need to do next is you need to find the intersection of all of those things that you just laid out. I just walked you through how my current job is the intersection of all those things for me, and you want to do the same thing for the answers to your questions. Now, if you checked out the link to the workbook in the description, you'll be prompted to answer all of those questions, and you'll also see a diagram that's going to help you find the intersection in a literal way. You'll find the intersection of 4 circles that represent those questions. So what I want you to do now is pick out the responses to each of those questions that really stand out to you, and I want you to place them in a diagram like this. In this top circle, you want to pick out the things that you love, that you're passionate about, and that you wish you could do every single day. In this circle, you want to put the things that you're good at. These are your skills and your strengths and the things that people ask you for help with all the time. In this circle, you want to put the things that you can be paid for. These are not necessarily the things you've done in previous jobs, but these are the things that could help you make money using the strengths and providing some sort of service to people. In the last circle, you want to put the things that the world needs. Remember, it's okay to narrow your focus to your community around you or your city. And the last step is looking for the intersection of these 4 circles. And that is going to be your Ikigai. So if you look at this diagram and you think about my example, remember that I love to create things, I love to design things, and I love art. I also really love my family, so that's something that I put in the top circle. These are skills that I have. I can create instructional content that people will use and I'll be compensated for it. And lastly, the world needs those things. You can see how those 4 circles intersect in the middle, so that is my Ikigai. So I now work a job that I'm passionate about, I'm good at, I'm paid for, and is helpful to the world. And I really, really like it. I like it a lot better than what I used to be doing. When I think back to those years that I spent teaching, I look back with gratitude, but I'm so much happier of a person in all areas of my life as a result of engaging in my Ikigai every single day. My job also allows me to work from home, which gives me this really awesome sense of work-life balance, which lets me prioritize my family, my biggest love in my entire life, with my work. This is my Ikigai. If you want to learn more about finding your Ikigai, check out the link to the blog in the description below. Check out the workbook link below and use the prompts there to find your own Ikigai. And hey, thanks for watching. Remember to choose growth, gratitude, joy, and good vibes. And if you like this video, why not subscribe?